Hi, this is Asasha over here, and in this video we'll be discussing about the basics of Excel. So if you are a beginner in Excel, this is the right video for you. So what I'm going to do is in this video we'll be discussing the basic layout of Excel. We'll be discussing the different options that are present in Excel, the modes that are present in Excel, and then at the very end we'll develop or build an equation using different mathematical operations. So let's get started. So over here, let me close this and close this one as well. If I click over here on file and select new, I'll be given different options. I'm clicking on blank workbook. Now this is the name of the workbook. By default it is book 3, but we can change it to whatever name we like. So over here I'm going to go save as and write Excel underscore 4 underscore BET beginners. I'm gonna click on save, and you can see the name has been changed from book 3 to Excel for beginners. I'll discuss a little bit about the layout. This portion over here is known as the ribbon. Now this ribbon is further divided into tabs like insert tab, page layout tab, formula tab, data tab, review tab, and view tab. Now these tabs are further divided into groups like clipboard, fonts, alignment, numbers, etc. Now if I move over here, this portion basically is known as the name bar. So over here at the left, this represents the selection or the name of the cell that is selected. Now how these cells are named, you can see these columns are lettered. So whenever we see a column, they will be represented by letters, while the rows will be represented by numbers. So if I click over here, this means I am selecting column number B and row number 3, and this is what the name bar tells you. Now if I move my mouse over here, this basically represents, or this is where the formulas are written. Now if I click on this will give me a number of formulas that are recently used, and if I move my mouse and drop down the list, you can see the number of formulas that are present in Excel, from which you can use your data, from which you can define your data analysis. Click on cancel. We'll be discussing basic building equation using simple mathematical operations, but right now let's discuss a little bit more about the layout. Now we have discussed about the ribbon, the tabs, the groups that are present in these tabs, and the cells structure. Now if I move my mouse over here, there are different modes in which the workbook can work. Over here when it says ready, this means that the workbook is ready for data entry, and you can enter any data, and it is enabled for data entry and editing and other options as well. So when I enter any number, let's suppose I want to enter 2003, 2004, 2005. So when I'm entering the data, you can see the mode has been changed into enter. This means that I am in the entering data mode. Now if I have completed, when I have completed my data entry, you can see the mode has been changed back to ready. Now if I want to change or edit any of these data or these numbers, I'm going to click over here Now there are two ways in which this editing can be done, or the number can be edited. I can double click on this cell and you can see it has been changed, or this number or this cell is ready to be edited, and the mode has been changed into edit mode as well. Another way of editing the number is I can select this cell and move my mouse up over here into the name bar over to the formula section and double click on over here, or I can single click as well. So this again has been changed into the edit mode. Now the last mode or that the workbook has is the point mode. What does point mode means? The point mode basically means that if you have two numbers and you are using a formula which is always represented or which always starts with an equal to sign, now whenever I take my mouse into any other cell, the mode change to point, which means that I am pointing my formula towards this data point or towards this data cell. Now we have discussed about the basic layout, we have discussed about the cell structure, we have discussed about the different tabs. Let's discuss about how we can navigate on this workbook. There are different methods. You can choose any one you like. There's no difference. It all depends upon which you think is more efficient for you. So the simplest way of navigating through the cell or navigating through the workbook is by using the arrows. If you see, if I am entering the right arrow, it is moving towards the right. If I am pressing the left arrow, the cell is moving towards, or the selection is moving towards the left. If I am entering the up arrow, it is moving towards the up. If I am entering the down arrow, it is moving towards down. Now another way which you can use or navigate through the workbook is by pressing enter. If I press enter, you can see the cells are moving down, but if I press shift plus enter, the cells move or the selection moves upward. The same way, if I press tab, the selection moves towards the right, but if I press shift plus tab, the selection moves towards the left. Now if I want to move towards the extreme left of the column, I will press home, but if I press Ctrl plus home, I will be taken to the very start of the workbook or to the very start of the cell. Now moving on, let's discuss about these different groups of ribbons. Now let's discuss about the clipboard. So I'm going to enter 2-3 numbers. And I want to select this. There are different ways to select this cell. I can go to cut. What it will do is it will cut this selection and it will cut the selection towards the clipboard. But if I click on copy, the data will be present over here and the same data will be copied on towards the clipboard. Now I can go anywhere and I can paste this data. Now there are different methods of pasting that you can do, but that will be discussed in the later classes. Now we have discussed about the cut option. The difference between the cut and the copy option is when we cut any data, that data is copied to the clipboard. To select an image or text, that image and text also disappears, but the number remains until it is pasted to another cell. But if you copy it certain data, the data remains over there, and whenever you paste the data into the new cell, that data that was copied from this cell is pasted to the new cell as well. So this is the basic option of the clipboard. You can cut any data, any text, any image, and paste and copy it to the clipboard. You can copy any data, any image, any text and copy it towards the clipboard, and whenever you enter or press on towards the paste button, that data will be pasted over toward that cell, and this will represent the new placeholder or the new name of the cell where it is pasted. Now moving towards the font section. The font basically represent in which font we want our data to be presented. If you click on it, you can see there are different fonts, different style of fonts from which you can select your data to be presented. So the best is Calibri. You can change the size from here, or you can change the size from over here as well. If you want to decrease the size, you can decrease the font size from here. Now this basically stylize your fonts. If you want your font to be bold, you can click over here. If you want your font to be italicized, you can click over here. If you want your font to be underlined, you can click over here. You can see your font or your data is underlined. Now over this section, this basically gives you different options to create a border over towards your cell. If you want a border at just the bottom of your cell, you can click on the bottom border. Likewise, on the top border, it will give you border on the top of the cell. But if you want borders on all cells, you can click on all borders, and you can click on outside borders. It will give you borders on just the outside of the cell. So you can try on these different options, and they are very easy. They are just like what their name suggests. Now further on, you can see this paint bucket. If I want to give a certain meaning or a certain importance to a cell, I can highlight that cell as well. This option is used for highlighting of these cells. So if I want to highlight this cell H10, and if I'm going to select this cell, and then I'm going to take my mouse over here, and when I press enter, this cell color is changed. Now if I want to change the color of the font as well, I can use this option. If I click on the drop down, you can see I have given a number of colors from which I can choose. So this was the font section. Now moving towards the alignment. The alignment, as the name suggests, if I click on this will top align the text to the top of the cell. This will align the cell to the bottom of the cell. Let me see, increase. If I do this, it will move the cell towards the top. If I click on the middle align, it will take towards the middle. If I click on the bottom alignment, it will take the font or the number or the data to the bottom of the cell. Similarly, if I want my font to be aligned to the left, I will click over here. If I want my font to be aligned to the center, I can click over here. And if I want my cell to be aligned to the right, I can click over here. Now another thing that I missed, you can change the cell width and height by hovering your mouse towards over here, and when it changes its shape like this, you click on it and you hold on to it, and you can drag it down, and you can see the size of the cell is changed. The same you can do with the column. You can take the mouse over here, click over here, and when you see the size or the sign is changed, you hold the left arrow key and you drag it to wherever you want. If you want to decrease the size, you can decrease the size. If you want to increase the size, you can increase the size as well. Now this gives the basic orientation. If you want the angle clockwise, you want the text to be vertical, you want the text to be rotated. So these are the different options. Now if I want to undo, I can click on Ctrl plus Z and it will undo all the changes that I have made. Further onwards, if I want to increase the indent, now what does increasing the indent mean? Increasing the indent basically increases the margin between the border and the text in the cells. So if I click on it, see, it is increasing the indent, and this is decreasing the indent. Now if I have a large text, let's suppose that I want to wrap inside this cell, I'm going to click over here and it will wrap the whole text into this single cell. Now if I want 2 different or 3 different cells to be merged together, I'm going to click on this single cell and move my arrow without leaving my left mouse key and drag and select these number of cells. Now when I have seen that these cells are selected, I'm going to click on merge and center, and this will merge all these cells. But if I click over here, this will drop down and give me different option as well. This gives me merge across, this will give me merge cells without the alignment option, and this, the last one, will undo the merge. Now the last that we'll be discussing over here are the numbers. So when we have a number, these numbers could be currency, this number could present percentage, this number could be used in any other accounting or any other data analysis. So when we have this number, they give us a different option. When I click on this number is changed into dollar. If I click over here, this number is changed into percentage. When you click Ctrl plus Z and change into back to its original size. If I want to put commas, I can put comma over here. Now if I click over here, this will give me the different number options in which we want our data to be used. This is helpful when you're doing data analysis and you want all your data to be represented by a certain number, time, or any other format that you want. So if I go over here, it can give me more number formats as well. So this decreases the decimals, and this option helps you to increase the decimals. I hope these 4 groups were easily I hope these 4 groups were I hope I was able to explain these 4 groups in a very efficient manner, and you will be able to use these 4 groups in your data analysis and in your data entry in Excel. Now let's discuss a little bit about cell structure. So if I want to delete or enter a cell, I can go over to the cell, right click on it, and I can click on the insert section. This will give me different options. I can shift cells towards the right, I can shift cells down, I can enter a row, or I can enter a column. So I want to enter a row. You see a row has been entered over here. Another way I can do, and I can go towards this option, as I can control shift and press, I think it's alter shift plus minus, or it's control shift plus equal. It is control shift plus equal to sign. So if I want to enter cells, another way of doing so is by click and pressing control shift and equal to sign, this will give you the same option again. Now if I want to delete the cells, I can right click on the cell and click on delete. This will again give me the different options, but this time it will be to delete the cells, and the keyboard shortcut is Ctrl Shift plus. Keyboard shortcut over here is Ctrl minus, and it will give you the same options, but over here when you click on it, it will delete the rows or the columns that you have selected. And the last is the format section. You can increase the row height, you can increase the column width, you can do this by dragging the column as well, or you can do this by clicking over here, increasing and decreasing the column width. Now that we have discussed about the basic layout, the basic functions of the ribbon, the different modes, the last section that we'll be discussing is how to build an equation. Let's suppose I want to add two numbers, so I will put 1 over here, and in the column C3 or in cell C3 I will put 3 over here. Now if I want to add these two numbers, I will put equal to sign over here. This basically tells us that a formula has started. Now I'm going to take my mouse and point it towards this cell and put the plus sign, and take my mouse and point it towards this cell. Now when I press enter, it has summed up these two cells. Now this was just a basic example. You can put whatever number you like, and this cell will automatically sum these two cells. The same way, now let's talk about the fill handling as well. Fill handling, this when a cell is selected and you take your mouse over to the very bottom of the cell, your mouse, you see it changes its shape. Now if you click on it, left click on it, and you drag these cells down, these numbers either will be copied or it gives you a different option as well. So if it's a formula, you can fill the formatting only, or if you want this to be a series, you can click over here and it will be changed into a series. So same here, I'm just going to click over here, and when I do this over here, you can see all the formulas are copied. This was fill handling. Now over here we have done addition. If I want to do subtraction, I can change the sign from plus to minus. If I want a multiplication operation over here, I just have to change the sign to static. Further on, if I want to divide these two numbers, I'm going to change the sign over here to /, and this basically changes the data. Now if I want to decrease the decimal, like we have discussed, we are going to go over to the number group and click on the decrease decimal portion. Now if I want to exponentially increase these two numbers, I am going to put this small hat sign which is present over the 6 and click on it, and this exponentially increases the number. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. This is a complete comprehensive video. If you're a total beginners in Excel, this video will help you to use Excel, get the formulas, use the different options in the ribbon, know which mode are you working on, how to use the different sections of the basically tabs, and it will make your working more effective and efficient. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.